Picture this. You just delivered your new project using model-driven apps. It's a nice data-oriented project and everything is working flawlessly. The end users are happy that the process works. However, there is that but. You know, the everything works great, but I wish there was a nice custom view of this data. How can we tackle this without blowing up our budget that, honestly, it's almost completely gone? Hi, I'm Bruno, and welcome to the Power Minutes. For today's example, we are revisiting our holiday request project. Even though it works as intended, the end users wish it had a little bit more to it. They wish, as well, that our quality of life features were improved. They want a calendar view where they can see the requests and have a better perception of who might be absent. They got used to how fast we develop a solution to their problem, so they expect that this won't take long at all, even though you know that this might take a day or two to make it presentable and working. Well, let's get started with it, shall we? Don't worry, we have a preview feature on its way to save your day if you're having this issue. We can now ask AI to build us a page just by describing it. So we can go here and press add a page. We can see that is already pre-selected, and you can see it's also available here to describe a page. Now, this feature is currently in preview and it's an AI feature, meaning that it's currently restricted to US environments only. So make sure you've used one or set one up to try this feature. And if you worked with prompts before, you should already be feeling at home. You can work with both data, images, and tables. So let's start with it already and add a table so we can ground our prompt. So we will say that we are using holiday request as a base table of information. Next, we want to describe what we want on our page. For that, we gathered with the team and we asked users what do they expect on this page, a bit of a refinement of the process and lifting the requirements. So let's see what they want. I gathered this while we were discussing how to improve it, while discussing the feature as well, and they want a few things. So I want to show my holiday request data in a calendar view. So I will just update that. Over here, we want it in a calendar view. That is obvious for us. We need to transmit that to the prompt. I want to be able to navigate months and years over here using dropdowns. Okay, great. That makes sense. And there should be a color-coded label highlighting the stage of each request. Again, just makes sense. Let's put that in. Additionally, there should be a legend at the bottom of the page. I also want to exclude rejective and inactive records from the calendar view, and I forgot to put over here the legend. Great, let's correct that. Great. What else do we have in store? A holiday request should be shown on each day it's part of, between inclusive start and end dates. So, additionally, this one we checked out. They no longer want that, so let's get rid of it. And the other request is that the border should match the color of the stage. Again, color coding, one of the best things you can have in an app because your eyes read shapes and color faster than words. Of course, the less requirement over here, again, just makes sense if you want to have it. Hovering over an holiday should provide a small pop-up with all data from the request. All right, we're ready to try it out. Let's press that generate button. You can see that's already working on it. This can take a few minutes while the page is built. You can see the agent having a series of thoughts and you can keep gathering this information. After it's done, you'll have the summary and the agent thoughts available to you on the left side, and you can already see that the AI is already at it working on code. Traditional pro code, as one of you might already see, this is generally built in React, and we'll give it just a few minutes to work it out. We might even pause the video for a while, just come back once we're done, as this can take quite a bit. So see you soon. And we're back. If you paid attention to the clock, it barely took a minute. That's great. And everything seems to be in order. We have our months working over here. We got our years. Of course, we're not looking that far ahead. I'm just looking 29, great. I looked this on the side. It's already considering leap year, so it's not inventing a calendar. It's actually using information to actually build a calendar by using the right materials. Of course, if you want to review what's in it, you have the code view. It's using a React, and you can already see that there's some imports for calendar. So great. Let's see if that's used. Um, and of course, a lot of stuff seems to be here already built. Of course, review this at your own leisure. I presented this to my team, and they were like, okay, great. That's a good idea. However, we can already see some gaps after the first iteration. One of them is I migrated this project to an US environment so it could have access to this feature, and I don't have any data. I have my example case. I want to have some more mock data. So that's one refinement. I want to look into it. And also, we reached out and they saw, hey, this pop-up is actually not working. I want a pop-up to work with including hyperlinks, and also I want each state to have a gradient becoming darker for each record it has, and there should be a cap of 5 records. All right, let's try that refinement idea over here. You can see the toggle between data, the holiday request to hyperlink, and I want to have a gradient, and that gradient should cap at 5 records. That means if 5 people are absent, we should be having, let's say, a dark day because we have many absences. Okay, let's give it a whirl. It's gonna start thinking once again. And the best part about this is not just lost to the rain. You can see that there is some maintenance and some history on it. You can see it's running again on our code. And of course, it's not reinventing the code, but reprocessing the code. And eventually you might even see it commenting out data. Of course, this is gonna take another minute, 2 minutes. So I'm gonna pause the video and we'll come back once the product has finished developed. So let's leave AI to its thing, and we'll be back to it once it's done and we can review it together. And we're back. It took a few more minutes than the previous time. We also decided to go for a few more rounds of refinement, such as getting the number of requests per day. But you can see that after the changes, everything looks great. We also went under another pass of reviewing the quality. Of course, let's see how this behaves with some mock data. Let's see some scale to it. And you can already see some gradients over here. The over feature, so I don't even have to click on a button. Of course, one last thing to try it out. Hopefully we don't have to go into real play mode. It's the open request form. Let's see it's opening up a form. Let's see if we actually get the results. And drum rolls, and we got it. We got a link directly to the form. So that was great. There you have it. We went from creating an app in just from a few days to just a few minutes, all thanks to AI. Now we are ready to use this feature once it hits general availability. See you next time.